What's up, YouTube artists and aspiring artists? It's Mike here with Aerosotle Custom Spray Paint Art. Today we are going to do another spray paint art video. I'm going to paint something kind of off the top of my head on a recycled canvas. Kind of walk you through my thought process as I go along, and hopefully we come out the other side with a pretty cool piece of spray paint art. One thing to note for today's video, I am not painting on poster board, I am painting on a canvas. That being said, I just recycled a canvas. So I took kind of an old canvas I didn't really want to hang up anymore, a can of Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch gloss spray paint, and I went ahead and covered the whole thing to kind of start anew. Then I let it dry. So that's one step I've taken. You can always do this with poster board or with a brand new canvas. Before we kick things off, I have started a subreddit for the channel. It's the same name, Aerosotle, over on Reddit. Hopefully that becomes a hub where you guys can share your artwork with me, maybe some videos, maybe I can give some tips and tricks and even one-on-one advice. Or if you're really just proud of a painting, make sure to pop on over to the Aerosotle subreddit, and your work might just be featured in a future video on this channel. Without further ado, let's jump right into today's painting. All right, so I've prepped my kind of recycled canvas with a coat of Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch Gloss White. The discoloration you're seeing, I did use a bit of a flame to accelerate the drying process. I don't recommend that, so just go ahead and let it dry for a good hour or two before you go. I'm just gonna go in and do a nice little space scene today. Hopefully you guys can paint along. I'm gonna just map out where I'm gonna have my little planets, and then once we have that squared away, we're gonna get to work on today's painting. Do something else, maybe like that. Today I'm probably gonna use a bit of a variant between Montana Gold spray paint and then this Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch gloss. Usually I've used this. I've kind of switched to this paint. Today I'm gonna do some experimenting and see how these two paints mix together. So with that in mind, normally I just spray a little mist of black, try to map out where these planets are gonna wind up. But for today's painting, I'm actually gonna go in and work on, since we have this nice white background, I'm gonna go ahead and work in kind of my nebula or whatever that's gonna be. I'm gonna start working on that now and just mapping out roughly where I kind of want that. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to make this nice and colorful. You can mix up your colors. You're definitely not bound to use the colors that I'm using for today's video. So here I just have kind of a fluorescent yellow and a fluorescent green. Really light mist purple on top of that. And really I'm just mapping this out to probably be peeled off to peel off some black layers once we get up top here and work in some color into our sky. I'm just gonna map out these planets, color schemes now, just kind of one by one. Now for this planet, I'm gonna use like the streaking technique to get a cool effect to this planet. So with that in mind, I'm gonna work more paint on this side because I plan to smear it across. And I'm just gonna kind of fade it into a lighter spread here because I know more paint's gonna be coming on over. With this, I have a general color scheme I have in mind here. So I'm just gonna work this in best I can. I'm going to toss just a bit of white on here, especially on this leading edge. And now with this, I got to realize that I want a bit of a spherical look to the planet, but I'm going to go ahead and streak across using the glossy side of this scrap piece of poster board. So there's very, very light pressure. So it's really cold where I am, but I have some heaters going in my garage, so definitely way too sticky as far as the paint's concerned. This is definitely a really cool looking effect, so that's a promising sign. Just to free up that paint to move a little bit better, I'm gonna come in with some clear coat. I'm gonna just use the back side of this poster board. I don't want this running back through. So clean side of the poster board. One more time. It looks like I kind of missed this. Maybe giving it just a bit of curvature now. It's going to really add to that 3D effect of the planet as we go into shade this. All right, if you guys have watched this far, you're definitely interested in spray paint art, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. Like the video as well. We're gonna come in now and we're just gonna shade this one out. Just the bottom, probably third of this planet, coming in with this blue. I'm gonna come in with just a little bit of purple, just to give it a gradient here. Really light touch on the cans. I'm just starting to curve just a little bit of this deep blue next. And lastly, into black. I'm going to just curve this out just a little bit more here. So the key to have that kind of really popping and even fade here is to really kind of channel the colors you have within this and go with darker shades. Don't just do a black line, especially straight across. If you do have only black, that's okay, but do a nice curved line that's in proportion to your planet stencil. But also if you start to incorporate fades of color and then finish with just a little bit of black, I think it's a little bit more effective. We're gonna go and just lighten up this area of our planet. So this is Montana Gold transparent. Don't have Montana Gold or the wallet for it. It is pretty pricey, especially here in Canada. Check out Rust-Oleum Quick Color. It's gonna mix really good with these Rust-Oleum cans, and this will give a similar misty effect to this can here. So just coming in. You see how subtle that is. And that looks pretty good to me. Now we're gonna bring our planet stencil back. I'm gonna put that down, just making sure every area that I want to be under there is. This one's gonna tip a little bit on me. It's actually falling off the side, so I'm just going to put some cans on top here and make sure I keep some weight. Next, I'm just gonna work on this one here. So again, we are gonna have some of this color shine through. I have a nice kind of teal brown lighter planet here. I think for this one, I wanna carry over some of this blue because we're not gonna have a lot of blue in that night sky. Maybe a lot of this yellow. Then just a little bit of this darker green. And I'm gonna hit it with that brown as well. Typically to get a cool result, you're gonna want some kind of neutral. So we're gonna go ahead and slap some white Montana Gold on here. And I'm just gonna grab a piece of plastic, kind of crumple it up. I'm gonna take a bit of care to make sure I'm not gonna touch too much of this area of my painting. It's not gonna matter a whole lot, but it might still be a little wet. I'm just gonna go pat down and touch on my canvas and gently peel back. Definitely gonna have to go in a couple more times on this one. Well, that's not what I'd call a very happy result. So we're gonna try this again. I think I'm having a tough time pulling any of this white off. Or I'm going all the way through. I think that's what's actually happening. I think I've gone all the way through to the white base of my canvas. So, change of plans. I think given the nature of how that turned out, I'm gonna go back to this technique where I'm just kind of swooping across. That actually looks pretty cool. I'm not even gonna mess with it. I'm gonna shade it just a little bit. Light source on this side of the planet here is coming. We're gonna have our light source somewhere here. So this planet here, I'm gonna make sure it's nice and dark. We're gonna backlight this one, do something really quick over here. It's a smaller planet, so I'm still gonna do my gradient. But I'm just gonna do it with the one color. So black and blue. Reflection's kind of hitting it here, but it looks pretty nice. We're gonna go ahead and call that one done. Place our planet stencil back down. We're gonna go for a little base of neon. And then straight black. I'm gonna use kind of a grocery bag this time. You just lightly tap this. I'm actually gonna use some of this Rust-Oleum Quick Color I mentioned earlier. There we go. So hopefully you guys kind of visually saw what I did, just playing around with some color schemes. This video is sneaking up there. It's gonna be a bit of a long one to edit, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna black this out. I'm actually gonna go ahead and use Rust-Oleum for this part, and might kind of go into time-lapse mode here. I'm just gonna apply black. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you check out the beginner tutorial series. I'm gonna answer a lot of the basic questions you're probably having right now. The stuff I'm glossing over, that is all covered in depth in another series, so head on over and check out my tutorial playlist. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you are tuning in, you've watched this far, it means the world to me. So I'm gonna go to work and kind of creating, whoop, there we go. That actually looks pretty cool. Just going in to create that light source, I really don't mind that. I think it looks kind of cool. With that in mind, let's move this up just a little bit so you guys can see the whole piece. Yeah, we're just gonna kind of work into that. So I'm gonna go ahead, add some other stars here on the edges. So that looks pretty cool. I am gonna go in, a lot of the color underneath, I'm kind of thinking I didn't need. I'm just gonna go in, I'm just gonna lighten up some of these outer areas with some green. Kind of working that in here to that center area. With a kind of contrasting color, in this case pink. I'm just going to play around with some other effects. A little bit of a starburst here. Well, that sucks. Not cool. So how do you deal with this, you may ask? And it's not always an easy answer, but we're gonna go ahead and pop that back down. Basically, the planet sense will just slid. We're gonna work in some black here. So we have that lighter foreground area. We're gonna come in with black. And I have an idea kind of for the rest of the piece. So I'm gonna go in as well with some of these outer areas and just play around to give this a little more vast look, a little bit more darkness, and it'll make a little bit more sense in a second. Oops, didn't need stars there. That looks pretty cool. Hopefully we've saved this planet a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off. It still looks funny, don't worry. I have a plan. Pull this one off. This is our sun over here. Let's see how bright that looks. Does look pretty cool. And this one here, boom. Kind of a backlit looking planet sitting in front there. So what to do here about this ugly ringed planet? We're gonna pull this off. That's our main planet. I like it. I'm cool with it. What I propose, black Rust-Oleum. We're gonna make some mountain terrain here. Covering up all of our blemish and that whole dark bottom side of this and mapping out where we want this to be. Still a little bit flawed, but it's not too bad. And within that, I can even come in here and make it less apparent even still. So there we go. Next, we're gonna come in with white. Plastic bag here. We're gonna come in, pulling paint off as we go along. Now we just have a little bit of a planet peeking out here. Not much at all. That's okay. I'm willing to make that sacrifice for kind of the alternative, so. I think for that to look right, it has to overlap just a little bit. Still think it's got to kind of come out a little bit more. It looks just a little too kind of triangular. So that's what I'm going to do there. all in all, guys, this one's pretty much done. I'm truly not happy with the mountain area. It's not my favorite piece ever. But hopefully you kind of saw what I did. I know I didn't walk you through fully, not really a full-blown tutorial. However, still good to kind of talk out the process with you guys. Hopefully you picked up something. If you did like the video, make sure you hit like and subscribe. I'm probably going to mess with this for a little bit longer. I think I can get it to look just a little bit better. But I think my battery is going to die here on the camera. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll catch you again in a future spray paint art tutorial.